Okay, hello, we are back for more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. When we left off, we just finished investigating the case of there's a murder at the circus. The ringmaster has been murdered. Currently, the prime suspect is the magician Max Galactica. But also there's a puppet, and he's wanting to propose to the animal tamer, but Max also wants to propose to the animal tamer, and the girl seems to think that the puppet's a real person. So it's all a bit strange. And so far, I have absolutely, in terms of the murder, actually, I have no idea. The only knowledge we have is that the eyewitness, who's the clown, said that he saw the magician standing over the ringmaster's body, so that's why he's been arrested for it. But nothing is ever that simple in Ace Attorney, but right now I don't have any idea what happened. We don't even really know anything so far about the murder, just that some guy died. Like, the ringmaster was dead, lying on a box, and that's really all we know. So yeah, hopefully we learn some more in the trial, so let's get into it. December 29th, 9:43 AM, District Court Defendant Lobby, number 5. Here he is back again with his whole chest out in the middle of court. Good morning, Max. Max? Milk. What? If I don't have a glass of milk before I go on stage, I just can't function, sweetie. Stage? Don't worry, there won't be a stage. All you have to do is sit down. I guess. Nick, Max is really nervous. That's understandable. Hey, my sweeties! What? You don't think I should fly, do you? Huh? You know, you've got to make a good first impression. When I enter the room, maybe I should fly in and warm up the crowd a little. No. We can't be having you flying around the courtroom. It just wouldn't be right. Imagine if you hit someone. Don't worry, Max. Just do what Nick says and everything will be okay. Oh, sweetie. What is it this time, Max? Why don't you try flying into the courtroom? I can see it now. The dashing young lawyer flying fabulously in from above. One glimpse of that and everyone in the courtroom will be on your side. Max, really, no one needs to fly today. Nick, what's with that look in your eyes? I like the sound of that. Dashing young lawyer flying fabulously. God help us all. December 29, 10 AM, District Court, Courtroom number 2. And now the case of one... Oh shit, what's going on? Oh my god! He literally was halfway through one sentence. Your Honor, get on with it. Oh, sorry. I just realised that the defendant's name is Billy Bob Johns. Oh, his name is just Billy Bob... I thought he got cut off. I thought it was going to be Billy Bob Johnson. It's actually just Billy Bob Johns. So, well, isn't this defendant also known as Maximilian Galactica? Yes, Your Honour, he does often go by that name. You know, my grandchild is a huge fan of his. I think everyone here wouldn't mind if we called the defendant Maximilian Galactica. It sounds more friendly. I wonder if that's our advantage. Miss Von Karma, your opening statement, if you please. I hope you didn't bother thinking that you'd win this one, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Eh? That spirit channeling trial was a sham. I refuse to acknowledge its legitimacy. It did not count, do you hear me? She must still be upset about what happened last time. You have no chance. Zero. Zilch. Nada. I'm not losing this case. Why, you ask? Because it's not in the nature of a Von Karma to lose at anything. I guess being born with the name Von Karma is a free pass to be arrogant and annoying. Watch and learn, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'll show you the textbook procedure for proving how absolutely guilty you are. Me? Guilty? What are you talking about? It will be my ultimate revenge. Her dad is gone, you know. The prosecution is finished. Let's hurry and wrap up this waste of time. You may call your first witness, Miss Von Karma. Detective Dick Gumshoe, get up there, now! Sorry to keep you from work, as I'm sure you need every penny you can earn, Detective. Don't mention it. It's no trouble at all. I've been looking forward to this. Very well. I would like you to begin by shedding light on the events in question. At your service, sir. Alright, Detective, you may proceed with your testimony. Details of the events. Did I get a message? I did, hold on. Details of the events. The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 PM, making it extremely cold out. All of the circus performers gathered in the big top to practice their routines. The practice session broke up around 10 PM. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 PM. The victim was found bent over a wooden box, dead as a doornail. The cause of death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck. I see. He was beaten to death. Sorry. I'm really debating. Thing is, I don't feel that tired. I was thinking, like, should I go and take some caffeine tablets? But, like, I don't feel that tired. I'm just yawning. I feel awake. I feel alert. I'm not sitting here, like falling asleep. For some reason, I just can't stop yawning. Here's the autopsy report for the victim. The court accepts this into evidence. Lovely. For some reason, our evidence also includes the monkey in the ring. A blunt object. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honour. Time to cross-examine that bitch. Okay, the night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 PM, making it extremely cold. Let me ask you about the snow. It was nearly a blizzard up until the time of the crime. Did it pile up? It wasn't such a big deal, maybe about 1.5 inches on the ground. The snow froze in place and stayed on the ground until the next day. The snow. Let me see. There's got to be more to this. Eh? What's the matter, Nick? I need to take a look at the court record. Mr. Gumshoe, what were the members of the circus doing on the night of the crime? All of the circus performers gathered in the big top to practice their routines. When you say all of the circus performers, who do you mean? Everyone but the dancers and staff were there. Regina the animal tamer, Mo the clown, Ben the ventriloquist, and of course the defendant, Maximilian Galactica, and his victim, the ringmaster. Oh, I almost forgot, Regent the tiger was there as well. Out of curiosity, what about the circus monkey? When I was investigating yesterday, he happened to snatch my wristwatch. Detective, you're welcome to file a police report after these proceedings. The practice session broke up around 10 PM. After the practice was over, where did everyone head off to? Regina was playing with Regent while Mo went back to his room tired from work. Ben the ventriloquist went to the front gate, absorbed in his own world. The ringmaster and Max went off to the ringmaster's room to talk privately. Talk privately, huh? That's awfully suspicious. You wouldn't happen to know what they were talking about, would you? It seems they were negotiating Max's salary. Actually, Max was asking for Regina's hand in marriage. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 PM. I'd like you to be a bit more specific about the events at 10:15 PM. Okay, not a problem, pal. We've got a witness that told us how the whole thing went down. Ow! This is totally meaningless. Time to move on. Alright. We'll just have to revisit that testimony later. Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling us how the victim met his end? The victim was found bent over a wooden box, dead as a doornail. A wooden box? That's right. The victim must have been carrying the wooden box when he was killed. Carrying the box, huh? It is a rather strange wooden box, Your Honour. What do you mean? Well, it was much heavier than it looked. Not to mention it was locked. Locked, you say? Wooden box added to the court record. This may be my only chance, so I might as well ask some questions. What does the court say about the box? The victim was hunched over this 20-pound box. It was locked by a small key. This wooden box. You figure it weighs about 20 pounds, right? Sounds about right. The whole thing is lined with iron. Iron? Iron placing. Why do you think it's lined with iron? I figured they did. Oh, I didn't get to read that, fuck. I think we could all do without your guesses, detective. Stick to what little you actually know. Sorry. Suffice it to say, the box is really heavy. Much better. You may continue on, detective. The cause of death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck. According to the autopsy report, the murder weapon was a blunt object, correct? You've done your homework, pal. And you haven't found this murder weapon, have you? The police are searching for it as we speak. My theory is that it's something the perpetrator ran off with. You would think so, especially since you didn't find it on the scene. No, I bet he made it disappear with magic. Oh! There wasn't much that we could go after Gumshoe with this time. He gave us the facts as he saw them. But there's gotta be more to this. I didn't see anything. But that's why you're the lawyer and I'm the medium. Right, he told me at the start to check the court record, so... Let me see, we have the crime photo. Yeah, that. Documents, the hat, the bottle. Autopsy report. Blunt force trauma to the head. So I don't know if it's to do with the snow. Hold up. 10 p.m. 10 p.m. Wooden box. Snapped a vertebrae in his neck. That's it, that's all we've got. I'm thinking the first one might be the crime scene photo. Oh no, the music didn't stop. No, it doesn't. They aren't, are they? Not at all. No! Oh dear. I really don't know in this one. I don't think that won me any points for the judge. It's just because he said when I pressed him on the snow, he said something about, like, I should check the court records. I thought maybe it was... They were talking before about the fact that the snow didn't have the footprints in it, but that doesn't seem to be it. Oh, apparently I was supposed to ask about the contents. That would explain it. Oh, I suppose maybe I could ask about... I could probably ask all three, couldn't I? If I just press and then change the question. Okay, so I'm supposed to ask about the contents, but I could ask about each. You said the box was locked. How exactly was it locked? Well, it had quite a sturdy lock on it. It took quite a bit to open that bad boy up. So, when you found the box, it was locked, correct? Yes, it was. Some of the forensics team took it back to the precinct to crack it open. I see. Continue, Detective Gumshoe. Blunt force trauma that snaps a vertebrae in his neck. So if I go back, I can press again, I can ask about the contents. It's annoying that they won't just let me ask all three questions. Like, if I've got the option to do that, then just let me ask them all at once. Contents. Do you mind telling us what was inside that box? Well, when we found the box, it was locked tighter than Fort Knox. So we took it back to the station and cracked it open. All that was inside was this little bottle. Bottle? What is that, detective? Exactly what it looks like, Your Honor. It's a condiment bottle. It's a condiment bottle. Just checking how long. I just opened that to see how long I've been recording, and then didn't even look at the time. What's inside the bottle? It's filled with pepper. Pepper? Why in the world was it locked in that big box? There was only one little bottle in that huge box. I wonder if that has some sort of special meaning. Maybe it was some kind of magic trick. Small seasoning bottle adds to the court record. Might be one of those like wooden boxes they use for like when they pretend to chop off people's limbs and stuff. Well, I think we have a good feel for the details of the events now. I guess that's all we're going to get out of Gumshoe in this case. You mean all we're going to get out of him is that little bottle of pepper? Now that we've wrapped up with the detective, I'd like to call my next witness. Eh? I'm not even off the stand yet. Obviously, but that's due to you being slow and unable to take a hint. I don't know, but wrapped up has such a mean sound to it. I'm a sensitive guy. Thank you very much, Detective Gumshoe. You may step down. Miss Von Karma, call your next witness. I would like to call Mr. Benjamin Woodman to the stand. She must be talking about Ben the ventriloquist. I wonder if Trilo will show up on the stand as well. I get the feeling he will. Oh, there we are. Please state your name and occupation for the record. My full name is Trilo Quist. I'm employed as an opera tenor. Excuse me. The witness called to the stand was one Mr. Benjamin Woodman, ventriloquist. That robe must be cutting off your circulation. I said that I was a singer. Maybe you don't believe me. Fine, I'll grace you with a song. Ahem. Me, 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 me. The world of the law, exciting and daring, guilt or innocence, decided by a judge dressed up like a woman. Well, what do you think? That don't impress me much. It had a good rhythm. It's just the lyrics, they leave something to be desired, so to speak. Trilo, you know better than to insult a judge. Shut up, just look at your nose. You'd think you'd have the sense to fix it. It's so ugly I want to punch you in the face and the off chance swelling would help. You know that your nose is the reason you'll never be an A-list star. Celebrities must really enjoy saying everything that flashes into their minds. That is Twitter. What's going on here? Order! Order! I demand to know who the witness is. Don't worry about me, sir. I'll let Trilo handle this. I'm not worried about you one bit. I'm worried about getting testimony in. You won't get anywhere trying to figure out this witness. Now let's proceed. She probably ain't wrong, to be honest. Once practice was over, I left the tent with the clown. Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went over to the plaza. That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime. He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? Then the police showed up and took Magic Boy away. You saw Maximilian Galactica heading towards the scene? You're sure of that? Without a doubt. He had on his silk hat, cloak, and the dumb white roses on his chest. How can you mistake someone with that crazy get-up and his nose stuck up so high? That's enough. I think we all get the picture. Just one thing. You said you ditched the clown. That's right, dress boy. Well, since you weren't with him, couldn't that mean that the clown committed the crime? He's got a point. What a shame. It was a nice theory, but the clown can't be the criminal. Why's that? Here's absolute proof. A silk hat. This was found at the scene of the crime. It belongs to the defendant. Ah. Without question, he was wearing his signature hat during practice. If the clown was the murderer, there would be no reason for this hat to be at the scene. Yeah, other than if the clown nicked the hat. Well done, Miss Von Karma. Your I hate this word. Prosecutorial skills are unrivaled. Well done. This is like I was saying the other day. I always had the problem trying to pronounce the word remuneration, because my brain always wants to say remuneration, like numeration, like numbers, but that's not the word. It's remuneration. And every time I had to say it in a meeting, which was quite often, I would always sit there and be reading like my thing that I needed to read for the meeting. I'd be getting to the word and I'd be like, and when we come to the re- remove awful, the worst. Thank you for stating the obvious, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What do you have to say? Okay, I guess she's the boss again today. Okay, we're cross-examining. I left the tent with the stooge, clown. The clown? You're talking about Mo? Of course I'm talking about that old fart. He's so pathetic, I can't stand him. Just a little bit of exercise and his makeup is running all over the place. Once practice was over, he was 9/10 of the way to keeling over for good. Poor guy. We didn't have any choice, so Ben took him back to his room. When it comes to being a first place loser, that guy's ahead of the pack. Then what happened? Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went over to the plaza. What did you do then? I went over to the plaza to do some thinking. It was awfully cold out that night, especially with all the snow around. Wouldn't thinking in your nice warm lodging house have been a better idea? Mr. Phoenix Wright, I think you should leave the thinking to the witness. But I'm a good thinker. My teachers always said I was. That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime. Are you sure it was really Max Galactica? Of course I'm sure. How could you mistake someone wearing such a snobby three-piece get-up? Snobby three-piece get-up? Get the waxwork out of your ears. Lawyers nowadays, you're like talking to a brick wall. Max's three-piece get-up. Jeez, could you be any more dense? All together now. Silk hat, cloak, white roses. Thank you. Nick, I think you should put a little more effort into preparing your questions. God, I'm doing my best, Maya. How about you back off? He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? You saw Max and only Max, right, Trilo? That's right, and that makes him the killer. He was the only one person headed that way that night. That makes quite a bit of sense and makes Max one suspicious character. There's more to this story than meets the eye. Is there something amiss in this? That's a bit strange, don't you think? What's strange? That you only saw Max. Doesn't it seem like you should have seen someone else as well? What? Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Who else do you suppose the witness could have seen? The ringmaster? That's the victim. That's correct. If Trilo was at the entrance to the plaza, he should have seen the ringmaster as well. Aha! Obviously the ringmaster arrived at the scene of the crime before the witness could have seen him. Anyone with sense could have figured that one out. What are you talking about? The ringmaster and Max went together to the ringmaster's room. Is that, according to the defendant, a likely story? If Maximilian Galactica was supposed to be in the ringmaster's room, why was he, just as the witness stated, at the scene of the crime? Ah, I see. It seems that at this stage I have no reason to doubt this witness's testimony. And there are clearly no conclusive contradictions. He's right. A brilliant judgment, Your Honour. Now let's move along with the testimony. Trilo wouldn't happen to have an ulterior motive for incriminating Max, would he? Well, Max is part of that bitter love triangle with Regina, which is probably why Max conked him over the head. Nick, wasn't Ben the one who got conked over the head? Yeah, I think so. I don't know anymore. Okay. Intention North Plaza. Oops. That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime. How could he not be the killer? Around what time did the police arrive at the scene? I suppose that would have been around... Hey, what time was it? Huh? I think it was around... I'd say about after 10:30 PM, I think. practice ended at 10 p.m, so you hung around the lodging house the entire time? I guess that sounds about right. Wasn't it awfully cold? I can't believe you just stand outside in that weather. Well, the truth is... Will you shut up, you big-nosed dope? Why are you telling him anything extra? Why can't you believe that we just stand outside in the weather? Well, maybe you were waiting for someone. What? Who said we were waiting for someone? Mr. Phoenix Wright, we can all do without your off-handed theories. But this witness, he's cracking under the pressure already. I'm on to something. Mr. Wright. Who do you suppose the witness was waiting for out in the cold that night? Regina! Well, if he was waiting outside in the cold, it was for one person. And one person only. He was waiting for the animal tamer, Regina. What? You were waiting outside for Regina to come back to the lodging house. Am I mistaken? Is this true? Well, you can't really ask me that question. Who cares who I was waiting for that night? What's important is what I saw. Don't you forget it. Well. The puppet may be a bit stiff, but he's right. Eh? Alright. There's obviously a reason why this witness was there that night. He spent all that time waiting for Regina to arrive. Moreover, even if someone else would have walked right in front of him, I doubt he would have paid them a second thought. Did his head just blow off? That makes perfect sense. What did you just say? The witness saw the defendant at the scene of the crime. However, he did not see the victim on the way to his eventual demise. If you accept that, then you must accept that there is a high likelihood that he could have missed someone else other than Max heading to the... Ow. There's absolutely no proof that the witness was waiting for the animal tamer. I guess you got me. Alright. I'll spill the beans for real this time. It's true. I was waiting for Regina. Don't volunteer things! Mr. Quist, tell us the truth this time, and I mean the whole truth. Were you, or were you not, waiting for Regina at the entrance of the lodging house? I was. I was waiting to propose to her. You were, what? Waiting to propose? What's the matter? You think that humans have a monopoly on marriage? The matter of puppet marriage is not under review in this case. You're the judge. I mean, look at your horrible outfit. Thanks to your bumbling, my perfect plan is not so perfect anymore. Now we have to waste time getting to the bottom of some silly proposal by a puppet. I need to pause for a second just because my legs have gone so stiff. I need to stretch them. Hang on. Okay, a bit better now. My knees have like completely locked up. Don't be so surprised that I was going to propose to Regina. I even had something to give to her. I kept it in my pocket, waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her. Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was my present for her. Well, it was a present for her. In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I still got it in my pocket. I imagine it was the ring, and you don't have it in your pocket because the monkey took it. You were going to propose. You, a puppet. Don't be so obtuse. Just because I'm a puppet doesn't mean I can't love. I guess you're right. Just because I'm old doesn't mean I couldn't propose to her too. Exactly. That kind of depends on what age she is. His honour is looking a little less honourable right now. Okay, Mr. Wright, please continue with your examination. Did you hear that? His sigh seemed a little wistful. About the proposal. I'm sitting swinging my legs. Apologies if I look like I'm jiggling slightly. I'm just still trying to get rid of the stiffness. Don't be so surprised that I was going to propose to Regina. By proposal, you mean proposing marriage, correct? To Regina. Of course that's what I meant. What kind of stupid question is that? I wasn't going to propose that we become some sort of outlaw biker gang together. Right, Ben? Yeah. Got it? That's the truth. I even have something to give to her. What was it exactly that you planned on giving her? You know exactly what I was going to give her, numbskull. The only thing I could find that could match Regina's beauty. Answer his question. What was it? You're going to die when you hear this. It's an engagement ring. An engagement ring? Wow. Those two nearly fell out of their chairs. Mr. Phoenix Wright's joke has gone too far. Time for this to end right here. Francisca's whip looks like it's about to lash out at almost anything. One hit from that thing will probably shut someone up for a long time. Pain equals bad! Push on anyway. It may be something of a joke, but this is a historic moment. The first time that a puppet has ever proposed to a human. Ow! I advise you to cut this argument short. I'm gonna have to agree with the defense here. Will the witness please revise their testimony? Specifically about the engagement ring. I'd like to stick to the facts, not sociology. You sure do enjoy sweating the details, especially for a man in a black bathrobe. I plan on giving her engagement ring to Regina. An engagement ring? Uh-huh. It's actually a diamond-shaped stone cut from glass. It's even more brilliant than the real thing. I think Regina's gonna love it. It's just a ring. What's the matter, Nick? Well, there's got to be something I can catch him on. I kept it in my pocket, waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her. Whose pocket was the ring in? Mine, of course. What a stupid question. You got to be kidding me. You think Ben could pull that off? I'm sorry, really. You don't have to apologize for that. He's the one who should be apologizing. Really? Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her. So you went to the lodging house to give it to her? That's right. I tried to give it to her during practice so many times that I lost count, but that uppity snob kept getting in the way. Uppity snob? He couldn't possibly be talking about me, Maximilian Galactica. When I get a hold of him, I'm gonna saw his wood block in half, and not with magic. Well, they always say that love creates rivalries. Where was Max even talking from there? So what about this literally, where was his voice coming from? In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket. So you're still thinking of trying to give it to Regina? Of course I am. I spent 3 months' salary in this thing. I'm not going to give out that easily. I wonder how much he receives for appearing in the circus. Probably way more than he deserves. How about it, Nick? I think it's about time to unwrap this toy's testimony. That's the spirit, Nick. Give him heck. Uh-oh, the judge has that dazed look again. Maybe he should get out more. Okay, so I'm going to present the ring. I'm going to present it when he says about it being in his pocket. Because it's not, because I've got it. Trilo, do you mind if I show you something? What is it? What are you talking about? Uh-oh, looks like they're going to double team me now. Do you recognize this ring? Ah, that's mine! Give it back! Thief! Thief! Didn't you just testify about this very object? I believe you said, in the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket. Why then do I have it right here? Ah! What's going on here? That's... Ben, say something! Eh? Don't put me on the spot like that, Trilo. I found this in Money's room. Money's room? You mean a room they put money? Like a bank vault? Ha! That filthy monkey is gonna get what's coming to him. Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you avoided slandering innocent flat... Does that say innocent flats? Innocent Fiats? Innocent Fiat Puntos? In my court. Well, Your Honor, Money really is a monkey. In every sense of the word. Ah, I see. Well then. Money likes to go after the shiniest things that he can find and gather them up. Shiny things? I like shiny things, but I'll marry you with paper. Trilo, when was this ring stolen from you? Well, I suppose it was that time, you know, that night. The night of the crime. What did you just say? Details. Any more details? Well, it was stolen right after Max showed up in the plaza. Right about when you saw the defendant walk past, correct? Well, I guess you might, be able to say that. The ring might have, well, it could have been taken around that time. Oh my god. Ben, what's with you? Oh, whatever. It has nothing to do with anything, especially not who committed the murder. It's not for you to decide what has to do with that. Now, Trilo, back to the topic at hand. I haven't admitted a thing, not I, Mr. Trilo Quist. What did you do when the ring was taken, Trilo? You know exactly what I did. I chased after that ring-snatching monkey. But you weren't able to catch up with him, were you? It's all this slow, loafy fool called Ben's fault. While he was fumbling his way through the snow, that dumb monkey was able to get away. That is indeed a credible shame. Well, this does indeed prove one very important point. Prove an important point? What point could that possibly be? I don't think it's gonna be Ben does the exercise, yeah. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Ben's testimony has a flaw. There's a huge contradiction in this witness's testimony. Contradiction? The witness just testified to the following effect. Up until the police arrived, he didn't move from the entrance to the plaza. However, the witness just stated that he chased after Money the monkey. When the witness was off chasing Money, there was no one watching the plaza. What's the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? Mr. Phoenix Wright? Where are you going with this little theory of yours? I'm saying that there is no possible way that this witness saw the plaza the entire time. That's where I'm going with this little theory. Which leads me to my next point. It's entirely possible that someone other than the defendant was at the scene.
Objection!
Well then tell me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Do you have any proof that something slipped past this vigilant Trilo Quist? Well, you obviously didn't see the victim, the ringmaster, arrive on the scene. However, that doesn't change the fact that he saw the defendant arrive. The witness is lying. He's blinded by his rivalry with Max. Well, the defense's argument does hold water. This witness does have a history of animosity towards the defendant. What? How dare you? I wouldn't lie just to get that dark face in trouble. He's not even worth it. I saw him, no doubt about it. I saw that worthless liar. Well, just for clarity's sake, let's flesh out exactly who you saw on that night. Huh, I've told you so many times, you'd think you'd know my story's not changing. You've already changed your story, stick boy, and I'm sure it will change more with time. Where there's one lie, there are usually many more behind it. Exactly, Maya. That's why we have to keep after him. Yeah! Witnessing Max. I'll give you that I was waiting for that night for Regina, but that doesn't change the fact I saw Max in the plaza that night. He showed up after I'd been waiting there for about 5 minutes. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximilian Galactica at the scene. There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols. Yeah, I'm going to need to take caffeine tablets or something. This is a disaster. This is a disaster. I'm so tired all of a sudden. So that means that Money didn't show up until after you saw Max. That's right, Money ran up less than a minute after I saw Max. Then Money snatched the ring, and you went chasing after him. How long was it until you came back to where you were waiting? Well, let's see, I'd say about, 5 minutes, I think. So the victim could have arrived in the scene in that 5-minute stretch. Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. Oh my goodness. Stop yawning. I hate yawning as well, because you yawn and then your eyes water, and then because your eyes are watering, your nose runs, and then all of a sudden you're just sitting there in a big mess. I used to get it all the time when I was at like primary school, and someone would be like, "Oh my god, miss, Lauren's crying," and I'm sitting there, I'm like, "I'm not, I'm just trying to stifle a yawn." Witnessing Max. I'll give you that I was waiting that night for Regina. So you were only concerned with waiting for Regina that night. That means you probably wouldn't have noticed if someone else showed up. You should think about how many eyes I actually have. I've got 4, you know. 4. 4! Counting Ben, of course. With that many eyes, do you really think someone could have slipped by me? 4 eyes is an awful lot of attention directed at one area, I suppose. Yikes. The judge is even more dangerous to our case than Trilo. That doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night. So you saw Max coming out of the big top that night? Of course that's where I saw him coming from. I was staring at the entrance to the tent the entire time. I guess that makes sense, especially since he was waiting for Regina. He showed up after I'd been waiting there for about 5 minutes. About what time would you say these events took place? You're one of the dumbest people on the planet if you can't figure it out yourself. You already know that practice finished promptly at 10 PM. And you already know that I went to the lodging house right after practice. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to know around what time it was when I saw him. Just had 10 more minutes, I'm sure you can do that. Now what time was it? Indeed, what time was it? What time was it? Let me think about that for a second. Yow! I'm not good at maths. It was 10:10 PM. Ah yes, that sounds about right. Sounds about right, because that's the time that I saw Max on the scene. Why didn't you just say that then? I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. So you testified that you said good evening to Max that night. You must enjoy asking incredibly obvious questions. You say good morning in the morning and good afternoon and during the day, right? And it's obvious that I'd say good night to someone at night. What, Ben? You get some sad? Let me guess. That's not it, Trilo. You say good evening at night. Ah, I'm sorry, Trilo. Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you kept your ventriloquist acts outside of the courtroom. Impossible! A performer lives and breathes his performances. You should know better. There's got to be something wrong with this bit of the testimony. I don't think there is anything wrong with Trilo's evening greeting, but I feel like that's the answer. Isn't that a bit strange to you? What do you mean? Well, if you hate Max so much, why would you bother being nice to him? It strikes me somewhat strange. Why would it strike you as strange? Exactly. How is it strange to be cordial to one of your co-workers? I'm with Francisco on this one. I don't really get that either. Well, if it was simply just being cordial to a co-worker, I would understand. Ow! That hurt! Maybe you should think of having some proof before your lips start flapping next time? Proof is everything in this world. You should have learned that back in grade school. There's no reason that Trilo would ever say something nice to Max. How do I go about proving that without evidence? Bluffing is everything in this world, but I'm sure you already learned that one. I guess I can give it a shot. I can feel my eyes starting to shut now, this is not good. The witness will resume his testimony. I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximilian Galactica at the scene. I'm so sorry. You're 100% absolutely sure of what you just said. I told you already. Jeez, I'm 100% absolutely sure. There's no way that you could be any more confident than that, right? There's no way I can mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols. Those 3 ridiculous symbols, huh? Out of curiosity, how many times have you been asked that question by now? If you're going to ask again, I'll answer with a chorus. Everyone together now. Silk hat, cloak, white roses. Thank you very much. Maya, you didn't have to join in, did you? But it's fun shouting out something with everyone else. There has to be a hole in this testimony somewhere. I agree, but do we have the proof to make something stick? All we can do is try, right, Nick? We've got to have something that will prove useful. Alright, time to go to work. Okay. I'm just waiting for Regina. Doesn't change the fact that he saw Max. He showed up after I'd been waiting there for about 5 minutes. I said good evening to him and he didn't even acknowledge my presence. I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Max and Melanie Galactica at the scene. There's no way I can mistake somewhere in those two ridiculous symbols. I know we're almost at the end of this trial, which is why I'm persevering. I'm really sorry if it looks like I'm dropping off to sleep. I'm gonna see what happens if I give him his hat for this one. The music isn't changing. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness's statement? I'm not sure I follow you. It's clearly, contradicts the, I thought, oh no. You don't sound very sure, Mr. Wright. Objection denied. Oh well. I don't think that won me any points with the judges. Okay, I'm gonna look it up because I genuinely don't know. Present the broken bottle or Regina's profile on the 4th statement. Alright, what statement am I on here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, right, to prove that they don't like each other. Okay. Trilo, is it not true that you had a fight with Max on the day of the murder? A fight? A fight over Regina, to be exact. It wasn't that big of a deal, it was just an argument, a disagreement at most. A disagreement usually doesn't end with someone getting plonked over the head. Someone getting bottled. That morning, Ben got clobbered. That morning, Ben got clobbered over the head by Max, didn't he? What? Is that an admission of assault and battery? Ouch. Before we handle that, we should wrap up the defendant's murder charge first. The truth is that on the day of the crime, the defendant and witness had a huge fight. There's absolutely no way that they would have suddenly become cordial that evening. Moreover, just consider the personality of the witness in the stand. There's no way a puppet like this would just go up and say good evening to his rival. Wah! I don't think my defense... I don't think my defendant wouldn't do that. It's gonna hold up in court, you know what I mean? Like... like, I don't think you can just go like, look at my defendant's or, well, not the defendant, he's not the defendant. You can't just be like, look at the witness's personality, they wouldn't do that. That's not... I don't think that's a defense. Or an accusation. Like, I don't think that works in any sense of that. Are you saying that this witness is lying? That he's trying to frame the defendant by claiming to have seen him at the crime scene? I didn't tell a single lie. Honestly, I just... That's enough from you, Mr. Quist. Mr. Wright? I used to know someone whose last name was McQuiston. And that's what that reminds me of. McQuiston. Yes, Your Honor? Let's clarify that this testimony for the court. Could you explain your theory about who the witness actually saw that night? Oh shit, I don't know. Well, I imagine... Well... Do I think that he didn't see anyone, or that he saw a different person? Because the hat was found at the crime scene. I think I'm going to say different person. It's my belief that the witness did indeed see someone on that night. It's just that it was just someone else. That's who he said good evening to. What kind of theory is that? The correct one. Furthermore, I don't believe the person the witness saw was Max at all. What? If he had truly met Max that night, there would have been no greeting at all. Which means that there's only one proper answer. The person the witness saw that night was not Maximilian Galactica. That is why Trilo made the effort to greet whoever it was that he saw that evening. Or good evening, as he put it. What in the world? Would the defense kindly explain who it was Trilo saw that evening then? I don't know. When asked who present Russell Berry, why? Why? Considering the ill temper of this witness, there's only one person he would greet. It must be Regina. It's Regina, right? She's so cute. No, Your Honor, it's not Regina. If it was Regina, Trilo would have given her the engagement ring as a present. Oh yeah, I suppose you've got a point there. It was Russell Berry, the victim himself, was it not? You're correct. It was indeed Russell Berry. The person you saw that evening was the victim, the ringmaster, Russell Berry. That's why you greeted him Trilo. Isn't that correct? Gulp. Answer the question, Mr. Quist. Why? Order. How do you respond to this? Wait a second. Well, at first I thought it was the old man, but once I got a better look at him, it was very obvious. It was obviously Maximilian Galactica. I think it's high time that we clear the air about this question. Mr. Quist obviously witnessed a single person in the area of the plaza that evening. The problem is identifying exactly who that person was. Was it Maximilian Galactica? Or was it the ringmaster, one Mr. Russell Berry? The prosecution argues that it was the defendant that the witness saw that night. The witness has clearly stated that he saw the defendant's 3 symbols. 3 symbols? Alright, this is getting old. Come on, man. You gotta remember better than now. Here we go again. Everyone, all together now. Ow! Yes, we know. The silk hat, cloak, and white roses. Silk hat and a cloak. Anyone could wear them. They would even look good on me. What was that? Well, the witness has endlessly repeated that he saw Max's 3 symbols. However, how do we really know it was Maximilian Galactica? It could have been someone else, dressed up as him. Possibly even Russell Berry. Maybe Max doesn't do his own stunts, and this is a stunt double. And he doesn't really fly across the room, his stunt double does. What? Ms. Von Karma, do you have clear evidence that the person the eyewitness saw was the defendant? Well, if that's the case, then it's impossible for me to make a judgment at this point. Yes, I think we've finally won a point in this one. That is very unfortunate. Huh? You're just a little too excited for your own good, Mr. Phoenix, right? What do you mean by that? You merely established one thing from this witness. You established that this witness saw one person at the plaza that night. I applaud you in your efforts, but who that person was can only be answered by the next witness. Huh? Your Honor, the prosecution will provide, beyond a shadow of a doubt, an answer to that question, and evidence to that clearly establishes one thing. that there is no other than Maximilian Galactica responsible for this crime. I'm so tired. Very well. The court will take a 10-minute recess. During that time, I request the prosecution prepare their next witness. Court is now in recess. To be continued. Oh, thank goodness, because I need food and I need to do something about how sleepy I am. Okay, I'm still no forward on deciding who I think did it. It obviously can't be... Sorry. It obviously can't be Max, because otherwise he would not be, like, on the trial, because Phoenix has to win, so obviously if it was Max, that would be a bit of an issue, because he wouldn't win then. So it can't be Max, but I'm really no further forward in who it could be. So I'm excited to come back next time and find out. For now, I am going to need to go and get some kind of caffeine and food, because I am really, really, really starting to fall asleep here. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and see me in the next part, where we'll be on coming back from recess to find out who Francesca's other witness is. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, everyone.